Hi, everyone. I think we will be waiting 1-2 minutes if other people will join. Otherwise, we will start. So just a second. Let's 2 minutes before the start, and we'll see. So, hi, everyone. Let's start. I'm glad that you join us for the little bit of the presentation of the MyQ activities and our focus for the Asia and Pacific region. It's me here is Arnost Matejka. I'm a business development manager responsible for the Asia and Pacific. Together with me is here Mark Asbridge, who is head of the sales consultancy. In general, he is the guy who knows everything about everything and who is generating the processes and these beautiful presentation for you as a partner and also for the customers. So just to start, now it's working. So welcome to the power of the MyQ. Who we are, it will be really quickly because the history is really long. We are already more than 30 years in the business of the print management solutions. Those are actually three guys who started from the high school, and they just said, okay, we will do something for the print management because there were customers asking how to track the printing, how to make it easier, how to make it more secure. We are still as a private company, so we are not owned by any vendor. We are not having any investment for kind of the funds. We are privately held. Those all three guys are still in the company, still working as a CEO, as a head of the development and CTO. So everything is under the control and privately held. So we are more flexible. We are able to get to the documentation and information about other vendors, and this way provide you the best possible product. Yeah, in the past, there was a time when the machines and printers and the scanners, they were really kind of old and old-fashioned. They were not so clever. And we had the external terminals. You need to use something else to authenticate, being able to choose the jobs and everything. So everything went through the external terminals, which was more expensive. It was a nightmare for the shipments, and it was hardware. So if something broken, you need to open it and really work with it. Now we are on much better side. This is actually the presentation of the first of the embedded terminal. So the application running in the machine interface. So with the touch screen, you can select whatever you need, and you can use much more functionalities than the machine coming with. So we are actually like an added value for all the operation of any machine what you are buying. And it's not only embedded terminal, you have it as a mobile application as well. So even if you have an older machine or a little bit limited, you can have what you have in embedded terminal, you have it as in a mobile as an application, and you can control nearly the same way any machine in your environment. And so today we are over 140 people. I think now it's even 150. We are operating all over the world. We are having my colleague who is actually joined as well, Mr. Hiroyuki Takada. He's as a business development manager responsible for the Asian Pacific with me and focused for the Japan operations. So he's in Tokyo. Me and my colleague who is joined as well, I'm sorry, I probably will say it wrong, Nat Danai Yen Chai. We call him Nat, and he would like to be called as a Nat. He is as a technical pre-sales consultant and post-sales consultant placed in Bangkok in Thailand. And we are growing. We are trying to be more and more present. Yeah, so we are trying to focus that everything what is needed in the region, we will be able to answer immediately. We can do it in person. Now I'm actually sitting in Pattaya. Nat is actually here with me as well. Mark, as you can see, he's obviously in UK because with this jumper and everything, he will die here with this weather. But he will join me and not for next week and the week after, because in 2 weeks we will be in Singapore for the government expo, so for the Cyber Week. And if you have if you are going to visit the Cyber Week in Singapore, you will be more than welcome on our booth K22, if I'm not mistaken. And we have two products. We have a MyQX, which is on premises, and MyQRoger, which is for the cloud. And because this is about the products, I will leave it for the Mark. When you have in the question regarding what kind of the vendors we are supporting, you can see we are from the Canon to Toshiba. We are having quite a lot of vendors which we are supporting. And also there are additional which are coming. One of them, which we actually will be showing, and I have already a prototype, is for the Brother. So in actually next month, the Brother will be published as well. And from this time, I will give the word and a speech to Mark. And it's up to you, Mark.
Perfect. Thank you, Arnost, for the instruction. Just very quickly, if you do have any questions, please use the Q&A section. We'll try and finish off them at the end of this session, and we can go through them. So to start off with, we're going to talk about MyQX. So what is MyQX and what does it do for you? We'll then go into MyQRoger and explain about MyQRoger and where it fits in its features and functionalities. But to start off with, I always like to explain that MyQX is a multi-vendor universal print management solution. It does control everything. It controls all of your printing, your copying, your scanning, your device management. It covers all of these integrations directly within one product. So when we actually start looking at some of the areas that MyQX covers, these are the 9 top functionalities. So this is from easy printing, from scanning, printing and scanning directly to the cloud, managing your fleet, centralized deployment, all of your printing and reporting, cost centers, mobility print, and our key factor, and this is something that MyQ goes on a lot about because it makes our users' life so much easier, is our personalized device interface. And we'll see that a little bit later on in a little demonstration that we've got. So let's move on to actually a bit more details about these individual sections. So with every print management, the core functionality is easy and secure printing. We want to be able to manage who prints what, where, and how. We want to make sure that all of the policies are maintained to make sure users aren't printing documents that they shouldn't be printing on devices they shouldn't be printing on. We want to control how those print jobs are released. Are they allowed to be printed in color or black and white? It gives the full functionality on MyQX. We can also control the way that the documents are actually printed, so the users can adjust the print jobs at the device at point of print. This is really great in sort of schools or commercial environments where they want to be able to restrict or control their releasing, and they can see the value that the print job's been submitted with. They can very simply and easily just change those documents upon release. Now with MyQ, we talk a lot about our scanning processes. Again, you can see here a nice little screenshot of our actual terminal device in our native view. And with our documents, we're able to actually predefine any button that can go to anywhere. And what I mean by that is one button can be predefined with one destination, or it might be configured with multiple destinations. So within a couple of seconds, you can scan a document into multiple locations, all from one click. You can predefine all of these buttons with all your settings. Maybe you want to make sure it's on black and white. You want to make sure it's duplex or a TIFF file. Any of the settings that you want to predefine a part of your scan action, you can do it. Or alternatively, if you want the system to ask you a question to say, am I allowed to change the settings? You can do this all within the MyQ screen. This is all designed around to be that really easy one-touch actions. Whenever I like to talk to customers about these kind of actions, I always say to people, what do you do? When you go to the copier and you do a scan, or you do a copy, or you do a print, what do you do and how do you do it? We can make these complete customized actions for those users. Now, in today's modern world, when we start talking about cloud, everybody's utilizing OneDrive and SharePoint, Universal Print, Amazon Web Services. With MyQ, we are integrating into those cloud services. And one thing that's really quite key is actually how MyQ does this. MyQ is able to connect directly to those endpoints. No longer are we utilizing some third-party Cloud Connect servers. So from a security point of view, MyQ is very secure, enabling you to connect directly to your endpoint devices. So with MyQ, again, we're able to browse those cloud destinations. So we can use native cloud browsing. We can natively find the files we want to print. And at the same point, we're also able to scan directly to those locations. Very easy and very quickly. Now, with every print management solution, the key factor for us is how we can manage those fleets of devices. With MyQ, you have this one pane of glass, this single view for you to look at your entire fleet of your devices. From here, you can see all of your devices that are online. On some manufacturers, you can see the firmware versions, and you get all of the reporting of all the toner levels and page counts from a single point. You can really see what's going on. The key factor with MyQ is the way that we're actually communicating to those devices. Unlike other brands, we're actually able to have constant communication to that device. What that actually means is we're able to pull back information about the status of the machine. Simple things like the machine might be in an error state, so it has an error code. We're able to pull that information back. There might be a paper jam or a cover open, or maybe the toner might be getting empty. With those key bits of information coming through from MyQ, we're actually able to then create alerts and notifications. So that means that we can send information to the administrator about their fleet of devices where they might need to go and visit the machine and change the toner cartridge or fix a problem with an error code. Simple processes, but it means it's all in one product in one place. With MyQ, we're also making this whole centralized deployment really efficient and really easy. I always explain to people that onboarding devices into MyQ is a matter of seconds, or it can be completely automated. What I mean by that is you can actually create a scheduled task that will discover all your printers on your network. It will automatically add them into MyQ, and it can also automatically install the MyQ application. This is great in hospital environments or 24/7 operations, or maybe you just want to do a delivery out of hours, but not having to have an IT person available on site to do the rollout. What that means is you schedule it overnight. It will automatically run the discovery. It will automatically add the printers to MyQ, and you can even submit a test print job through to that device. Very simply and easily, you can onboard hundreds of devices with MyQ within a matter of minutes. Obviously, reporting and waste prevention is a key factor of any print solution. But with MyQ, we've got over 60 reports built into the system. This means you can get a full picture of exactly what's going on in your environment at any point of the time. With this information, you can then start looking at implementing rules and restrictions so you know how to target your individual users. You can get full graphical reports of bar charts, line charts, or maybe just a CSV file. These can be scheduled, so they can email a particular person on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And we also have a Power BI connector that's available to download from our portal. What that means is you can now use Microsoft Power BI to really drill down into your analytics. So then we start looking at our projects and cost centers. I mean, cost centers really comes into our education environment where we want to be able to control the printing budgets, who's printing what and who's printing to where. So with cost centers, you're able to drill down for your teaching staff, or maybe you want students to allocate the funds to a particular year group. With MyQ, you have multiple layers of cost centers and accounting, and you can apply different sets of quotas to all of these at any given time, making it very easy to control in your environment. With MyQ, we have this variance of Boyd and mobility print options. Whether or not you're utilizing the mobile phone app, where you can then print from any iPhone or Android device using the Mobile X app, we have different methods of our desktop client tool. So we're able to put this into public modes. This is great for sort of libraries or open locations where you want users to be able to come into a device and sign in and print their documents and sign out in this particular public mode. With the desktop client tool, it can also automatically provision all of your print queues. So again, for your IT administrators, there's no longer this tickets or people queuing up at the IT door. Very simply, they can just download the application from maybe a shared portal or directly from the public website, install it, and then you're able to print within a few clicks. MyQ's interface is highly customizable and you can personalize it directly to your requirements. What that means is you can change all of the colors, all of the themes, and all of the icons. For me, I find this incredibly powerful going into particular customers because they might have their particular color themes, their logos, their icons, where they want to change the whole look and feel of MyQ. But what it also means is when we start scanning into cloud destinations or document management systems or particular invoice processing workflows, you can actually make all the icons and the colors matching that endpoint of the destination. So for example, if you're scanning to SharePoint, it's very easy for you to put a scan to SharePoint icon. Or if you're scanning into a document management system, put the document management system icon on the system. Again, it's all designed to make life easy for your users, rather than having to come up to the device and click through multiple screens and try and work out where they're actually meant to be scanning to. With MyQ, you change the icons, you change the colors, so people recognize the images much faster than what they have to read the text. You can also regionalize the language. So with MyQ, when you log into the device, you can actually predefine the language you want to utilize. So this means you have a complete personalized environment, not only for you, but in your language, which is really quite key. So with MyQ, as soon as you click those buttons, and it will just complete the scan action immediately. Within MyQ, we have 6 built-in themes. So these are all the different colors that we have, but you're able to completely customize those color actions. You can now export those color themes as well. So if you have a corporate color theme that you do all of your installations on, you can create them, you can export them on every single installations. You can then install that into your environment. So let's have a little look at the actual terminal device. How does it look and some of the scanning actions? So with MyQ, you can have 2 different modes. You can have the light mode or you can have a dark mode. So you can switch between these different modes depending on the logos or the colors of your company. You're able to have the QR code as well as the PIN, and you're also able to customize the logo that's on the front of the screen. When we then log into the device, you can see here, this is our pane of glass that we can see at all times. We're able to put all of these actions in one place. Printing, copying, scanning, absolutely everything goes here. Users aren't having to go into panel actions, find different locations. Everything is in one screen. So we have our print all button, which does exactly as it would say. If you've got 20 jobs in there and you have the costings enabled, so it could be like $10, then it will be pre-populated with all of that information. We then also have our My Jobs and our Easy Print. So our My Jobs will list all of those documents that have available to the user, and they can release individual documents, or they might want to change some information. They might look at that all print jobs $10, for example, and realize they printed all their documents in color. The users can then go into the My Jobs area and then change those settings to be a black and white double-sided copy to make sure it's an environmentally friendly print job. We also then have our Easy Print. And Easy Print enables your users to browse OneDrive or SharePoint or Google Drive, or even maybe a folder. This then means they can, from the panel, browse these destinations, select their files, and print them directly on the device. This is really convenient for sort of engineers or warehouse operators, where they're not logged into a MyQ at all times on their PCs. They simply walk up to any MyQ-enabled photocopier, select Easy Print, browse the destinations, and then print the documents that they require, saving an awful lot of time. We then have our scanning workflows. These workflows, again, we talked about a little bit already, designed to be customizable. What do you do? Where do you scan to? We can predefine these with all of these settings. So double-sided, color, PDF, 200 DPI. They can be customized with these settings. So as soon as they touch that one button, off a scan goes. Or we can customize it, allow the users to interact with it and make those changes on the fly. We then have our copy workflows. Again, these are really, really powerful. It's in one screen. You're not changing from this screen. Everything is in one location. And again, you can predefine these buttons. Again, talk to your customers. What do you do? When you do a copy, what do you always do? Generally speaking, it will be a black and white, skip blank pages, a double-sided document. Nice and simple. Make that one button. And then you then have the option to create them multiple buttons. It's not a one button for all. And then we have our latest feature, which is a part of our 10.2 release. And this is something that's really, really powerful. Now, we talked a lot about how we can create customized actions for particular users. The IT administrator creates them. But sometimes in environments, users want to customize their scan action to maybe their OneDrive. And everybody's OneDrive looks different. My OneDrive will look very different to how Arnost's OneDrive looks. And within MyQ, what we can do is we are allowing the user to predefine their locations. So when we select the favorites actions, we can then click the plus in the top hand corner, and then we can create this new action from our predefined administrator's actions. So we can select them, and then we can then add them here. Now, what's really quite key here is the users can then edit them. And when they sort of start editing them, they can then set their predefined locations. For example, in OneDrive, they can then say, I always want to scan to this location. I always want to scan in color, PDF, 600 DPI, because I'm doing photos. So they can create their own personalized actions based on what the administrator has allowed them. Now, that's a really key factor there, based on the administrator, because this isn't allowing the users to create anything to anywhere. The administrator sets the boundaries of what the users are allowed to scan, and then the individual users can then edit it within those boundaries. So it's really, really powerful. This is about taking time away from you as a partner, away from the administrators, and allowing the users to personalize their own personalized area. Very, very powerful. Now, if you want to know more about that or see more live demonstrations or get in action, then reach out to myself or on Arnost, and the team will be able to kind of show you more information. But on this quick demonstration, we just wanted to give you a few light touches of information. So that was MyQX as a high-level overview of some of our core functionalities, covering the personalizations, our central deployment, one pane of glass seeing all of your printers and all of your actions, along with those scanning processes. Fantastic user functionalities. We're going to now move on to MyQ Roger. So MyQX, on-premise, as Arnost said, private cloud solution. But a lot of people are now starting to talk about public cloud. We want no servers, zero infrastructure. We just want an internet connection, and that's it. And this is where MyQRoger comes into place. MyQRoger is currently supported for our full embedded applications on Kyocera, HP, and Ricoh. So there are our 3 full embedded terminals. But we are able to support any brand by using either an NFC tag, so we can use a mobile phone, and as well as we're now just in the process of launching our direct print and also local desktop client monitoring. So lots and lots of flexibility with MyQ. So what is MyQRoger and what can it do for you? So MyQRoger, as I said, is a public cloud print management solution. It is designed to eliminate all of your on-premise servers. It's designed to eliminate the infrastructure requirements, the requirements for your IT administrators to manage this instance. It makes it incredibly flexible because you only pay for what you need within the MyQRoger platform. No longer are you having to have individual servers or multiple servers. If you have 1,000 printers, it doesn't make any difference to your environment. All you're doing is adding those additional licenses to MyQ, and then you're able to have that scalability. We are able to track all those costings within the solution, so we know what's going on and try and reduce those costs exactly the same way you do with any print management solution. MyQRoger is designed to scale with you as a business. So whether or not you start off with one office with one printer, and then you then scale that to 1,000 devices across the globe, with MyQRoger, it's that simple to scale it in different environments. It is designed to be an easy print management solutions with integrations for devices and users in individual locations and direct cloud integrations. And again, because it's MyQ, it's all about that personalized interface. You can create those scan actions and make them completely customizable. And again, you'll see that as we go through the demonstration purposes at the end. We can automate those tasks as well for your users when we're creating those actions, so your users aren't having to always go to the machine and click lots of buttons. It's all designed to be simple and easy, really freeing up your IT administrator's time and you as a partner. So MyQRoger is designed for all industries. This isn't just for commercial, this isn't just for education. MyQRoger is designed to work in all areas of the business. Whether or not you're looking at utilizing cost centers for the education, you just want simple follow-me printing for a commercial world where you might have salespeople on the road and they just need to print their documents wherever they travel. MyQRoger's got features and functionalities designed for everybody. So we always like to break down MyQRoger into different areas from managers to end users to IT specialists. What works for these particular 3 groups of people? So for the administrator, it's always about how they can view the system. What does it actually give them for their environments? So with MyQRoger, we have all of these accurate accounting, and accurate accounting is something that we will always kind of speak about because we're always monitoring those print jobs. What was actually released rather than what was sent. So we're always keeping on track of that. They can create all of their personalized actions and scanning and copying workflows. This basically means that the administrators can predefine for their teams and departments who has to scan what and where. We're able to, in the MyQ portal, get all of the information back from the terminal devices. We can see all of its status levels, its supply levels, so we're actually able to manage this really effectively. A lot of people are starting to look at utilizing Microsoft Universal Print, especially with Windows Protected Print Mode coming in the future. MyQRoger supports this functionality. And again, from a security point of view, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, Microsoft is protecting your print. And the way that MyQ integrates into this is very easy and very effective. We also have the Mobile X app, which is fantastic for users that are traveling anywhere and everywhere, because you can power the device for printing exactly the same way you can from your mobile phone. From end users, what this means is MyQRoger means you can print from any device, whether or not it's on a PC, it's a laptop, Chromebook, SmartBook, any device that you can print through. Whether or not that's using the native app or the upload process, MyQ is very, very flexible for these printing environments. You can print to any printer, as I explained earlier, with any brand of devices by utilizing the NFC tag. and soon to be released will be supporting the direct print modes. One of the key factors for our end users is our folder browsing. And you'll see this in a little demonstration that we have at the end, but it's a really key factor of MyQ. We took all that experience and all that knowledge from MyQX, and we made it even better in MyQ Roger. This is now able, from one individual screen, you're able to browse, scan, print, all in one location. It's incredibly fluid, very easy to use, and it also now supports Microsoft Teams. As always, you're able to change all your printing and scanning options within the product. So from one interface, you can select your documents, you can change those settings so that you always have what you need when you need it. You have capabilities through the mobile phone to be able to use voice control, so you can actually control that. And also with the mobile phone in the personalized mode, you're also able to enable the ChatGPT analytics. What that basically means is you can start asking the system questions to say, summarize, translate, convert. That does come with a slightly different subscription, so just be aware of that. But you can also use the PDF OCR part of that process as well. So you're allowing your users to scan with their mobile phones, upload their documents to SharePoint and OneDrive. It's following exactly the same workflows. And then when we start talking to our IT administrators, these got key features and functionalities of what they are always looking for. So single sign-on, not single function, single sign-on with multi-factor authentication. We're able to synchronize users directly from Azure. So it's a really key factor. It's a product that's integrating into their cloud environments of what they're already used to utilizing. We have multiple authentication processes, whether or not you're using ID cards, PINs, or you can use the mobile phone with a dynamic QR code. It's quite a key factor there for our dynamic QR code. QR codes are getting quite a lot of publicity for being insecure these days, but the foundations of MyQ is security first. And we've basically made our QR codes that are constantly dynamic and they're constantly changing. As soon as you scan the QR code will change, or it will change periodically at the same time, enabling you to make sure that you're always scanning the most up-to-date and the correct information. Our unique spooling features and functionalities, and we'll talk a little bit more of that in a second, but MyQ, we're able to be flexible with where you send your print jobs. Whether or not we save those documents locally, we send them to the actual Kyocera or HP or Ricoh device, or we send them via the cloud. And for me, the cloud is where a lot of investment and a lot of people are looking at. And we'll cover that in a second. We support, of course, every major cloud storage destination, OneDrive, SharePoint, Google Drive. And also from your mobile phone, you can start using iCloud, Dropbox, or Box. Again, it's giving this complete flexibility to scan to wherever you want, either from the MFD or your mobile phone. And of course, we have centralized deployment, allowing your administrators to deploy the desktop client tool really easy and really quickly. We have this queue deployment now with the desktop client tool. So your users are able to get not only desktop client tool, but it will pre-install the correct driver along with the print queue, pre-configured to your printing processes. What I mean by that is if you want it to install it with a queue that points directly at an MFD, or whether or not it prints to the cloud, this is all completely configurable within the desktop client tool, a part of that deployment process. MyQ now supports a complete zero trust, no VPNs, no lateral movement on your network. I know a little bit technical, but this also then starts supporting TLS 1.3. No VPNs, just an internet connection. And this is kind of where we start talking about our printing modes that I'll cover in a second. It is a complete serverless environment, a multi-tenant public product. You've got nothing to manage other than installing the desktop client tool, and your users will get the notifications, nice and simple. MyQ does support our latest certifications of ISO 27001, the most recognizable standard in the industry. And we do have global data centers. We have one in the EU and one in the US. So we are able to make sure we have a data center local to wherever you require. So I talked theoretically about what some of those functionalities are, but let's look at some of those individual features. My first one, and I think for me the biggest one, is your data. Now, in any environment, this is the topic that I sadly love to talk about the most, because with MyQ, Roger, this is really, really unique. Because with here, what we're doing is we have the controls to send your data to where you want it to go. What I mean by that is when you click print, I have the choice. Do I keep the print document on my laptop? Do I send it to the device if it supports it? Or do I want to send it to the cloud? Now, personally, I would just send it to the cloud. And a lot of other products out there in the market supports this cloud printing option. But with MyQ, we're very unique. And what we can do is we can send it to your personal OneDrive, your personal Google Drive. What that means is for data sovereignty, a lot of people say, well, we don't want our data to leave our network. And what we're able to do with MyQ is we're able to print the document with a full feature driver. It spools it and then saves that document directly into your personal OneDrive. When you log into the MFD, you're able to then download that print job directly from your personal OneDrive. All the information that goes to MyQ is very simply the metadata, the how many pages, who I printed, when did I print it for reporting and logging purposes. So when we start talking about data sovereignty, data security, there's nothing more secure than your documents in your own personal storage. But with MyQ, we also understand that in certain environments, having that own personal link to OneDrive and Google Drive, we are now just about to launch the MyQ Cloud storage. So that's something that's going to be coming out in a very soon release, where you'll be able to print your documents directly into our cloud environment. But personally, I think printing your documents into your area with your controls, with your data protection, there's nothing better than that. So MyQ, Roger, has some very good security functionalities. We talked a little bit about our user interface. So here we have our nice easy touch actions. So when you log into the terminal, you're able to see on the left-hand side all of your scanning actions, all of your print jobs, and you can also then create your favorite tasks and your favorite actions, all designed around to be completely customizable for you and your processes. From the home screen, you have these flexible options to log in, and we talked about earlier on with the username and PIN, ID badge, PIN, or that dynamic QR code that's sat on the top there. Your users can very easily press and hold or swipe, very much like you do on an iPhone or an Android device, where you have these normal user actions. So within MyQ, you can change all of these scan actions and JPEGs, TIFFs, double-sided black and white, utilizing the built-in OCR kits from an HP device to complete those scanning processes. And then we can start talking about our print and scan with cloud browsing. Now, with me, one thing that's always quite key is security when we start talking about our cloud products interacting with other cloud platforms. And with MyQ, Roger, we're able to have these different policies and these different modes of how our users will interact. And what I mean by that is logging in with a 4-digit PIN number into a product that can browse and print your OneDrive isn't necessarily the best process. And the reasons for that is if you think about when you log into your OneDrive on the browser, you have your username, you have multi-factor authentication. With MyQ, what we're enabling is different security methods based on your login methods. So if you log in with a PIN number, you can release all your prints that you've rendered, but you can't browse your OneDrive. You can't browse your SharePoint sites because we've deemed it an insecure process. If you then log in maybe with the QR code utilizing your mobile phone because you've unlocked it with Face ID, you've then scanned the QR code and then logged into the device, this is we're deeming a secure method of logging in to your platform. Then you can browse your OneDrive and you can print your documents. But we understand in every environment, people want the flexibility to adjust this printing process. How do they want to do it? So this is a configurable option, whether or not you want to enable or disable this functionality. But personally, I like enabling this from a security point of view because it's really quite key in today's environment. We then have our mobile workflows, and you'll notice the mobile phone looks almost identical to the actual terminal of the device. And that's by design. We want our users, wherever they are, if they're on the MFD, if they're on their mobile phone, their whole experience should be exactly the same. They're utilizing the same scan actions. They can control the copier as well if they want to from the mobile phone, or they can scan and upload their documents all from one environment. I think this is great from an administrative point of view because it means that they're only having to set up and manage one platform, one portal, one use of system. The users are logging in with the same processes, the same actions, all in one environment. With MyQ, we have our cost centers that have been recently introduced. So again, when we start talking about education environments or factories where they want to control users printing, where they might not want them to print in color, so you can completely limit this or set these cost centers for reporting. Then we have our device insights within the MyQ platform, and I think this is really powerful. Again, we talked a bit about this in MyQX, about seeing what's going on in your environment, especially with a cloud product, especially in a zero trust network environment where your legacy tools no longer work. With this, you're able to see the devices. Are they online? When did they last check in? And that's a really key factor. If somebody phones you up and says they've got a support ticket problem, you can see here, well, when was the device last checked in? If it hasn't checked in for 2 days, 3 days, and they're complaining it's not working, well, is it plugged in? Is there a network connection issue? You can start building a picture of what the problem is. It brings you back things like page counts, toner levels, what terminal version is installed on the device. Again, it's designed from one portal to give you full visibility over your environment. Then for the individual users, we have personalized reporting. So the users are able to log into the online portal and see what they've printed, what documents they have, where was it printed, and how much did that actually cost. You can even do that from the mobile phone. So from the Mobile Roger application, you can look at the environment and you can see your print jobs. And then as an administrator, your administrators can have reporting pre-built into the system. You can then generate reports from users, groups, cost centers, jobs, quotas. All of that information can then be built in to the system. And now we're introducing this to be automatically scheduled. The current process is the administrator logs in and they can then download that directly from the portal. But we understand that not all administrators want to do that on a manual monthly basis. So we're introducing scheduled reporting. After the scheduled reporting has been introduced, we'll then be introducing graphical reporting. So again, this is designed to send you a nice PDF file with lots of information, whether or not it's the top 10 users or the top devices, or just a general overview of your printing environment. So that's something that's coming very, very soon. But let's see it in action, exactly the same way we did with MyQX. So we have the same style logins where we can click in. I don't know why it's, hang on. I apologize, it shouldn't be playing. I wanted to do it one by one. Okay, so we're going to do a really quick demonstration on this. I have no idea why it's going through this so fast, and I apologize for that. But I'll go backwards and forwards a couple of times and I'll click through this. So with MyQ, it's all about this flexibility of going through your environment, whether or not, I love demonstration when it goes wrong. Well, I'm just going to play the video. This is designed to be a one-touch action every single time. And if I'm not doing this in Teams, it works perfectly. So I apologize for this process. But here you can see the screens and how easy it is clicking through the different login methods, whether or not you're scanning the QR code, logging in with a PIN, browsing the files, selecting the folders, or selecting those scan actions, as you can see at the bottom. If you very quickly see you've got those actions going in. I really apologize about this. I have no idea why it's doing this. So yes, so that is everything luckily on my demonstration, because I can now go to the end of questions. So I'm just going to click on the QA and just have a little look, see whether we've got any questions. I'll try and quickly fire them off if I need to be. It looks like Arnost has already answered those questions. So if there's any more, please put them into the questions. We will be able to pick these up at the end. But other than that, I'm going to pass back to Arnost just to finish off and close up.
Okay, Mark, it was really fast, unexpectedly.
I got 15 minutes for questions.
Okay, but that's really good. But the video was just like playing without any stops. So
It wasn't meant to do that, and I don't know why. Because
me
that's not how
neither.
it is on my presentation. So as we said, we'll share the presentation. That's the key factor, and people will be able to see that. There's just a small part of me dying inside now, and I apologize.
Okay, not a problem. Actually, if you have any questions, just let us know, even after the session itself. We are here. We are in Asia and Pacific region, available all the time. And if not, emails and WhatsApp, Line, Viber, Signal, Telegram, everything. I think I have all of that installed. So anyway, I will try to react. There is a presentation which I will try to put into the chat if it will immediately share, but I don't think so. We will need to send it as a separately. And oh, okay. There is a question regarding how does voice control work, Mark?
So voice control. So this is for my MyQX. Sorry, MyQ Roger. You can it integrates with either Siri or whatever the Android one is. Sorry, I can't remember what the Android one is. But it's built into product. We can send you some further information on that if that's of interest, to make sure that you've got that. But basically, it uses the native mobile phone processors.
Okay, yeah, I know there are some, actually there are a lot of functionalities which we didn't mention, because if we mention everything here, we will be sitting like, how long is the technical training? 3 days? 3.5?
It's about 3.5 days for X and day or two for Roger.
For Roger, yeah. So that's a lot of functionalities to go through.
I can just see there's another question asking about the public printing profiles for, I'm imagining MyQX, for spaces where tracking unregistered users. So what the users would do is they would register. They could register on the online portal, so they could log into MyQ, and when you open up the homepage, it says register here, and then they can then use that to log in to the MyQ desktop client tool. So when they're submitting their print documents, it will then always have their information. So there's a couple of different ways around that. Some places say that they don't like to have to register, and that we can then pre-populate it with like a guest account or a library account that we can do. And I think what's also worth mentioning is we're just about to launch Stripe integration for payment. So again, in this public printing method, the users could register their account. They could then top up their funds by utilizing WePay, and I'm trying to remember all the other Asian payment methods, or
Alipay.
credit cards, Alipay. Yes, thank you, Arnost. Lots of different methods. So not only can they create an account, they can top up their account. They then log into the desktop client tool, and then they print and pay at that particular process. Lots of flexibility within MyQ.
Yeah. Okay. So if you will have any other questions, just let us know. Otherwise, we can just end the session. We will be preparing additional sessions which will be more focused on the functionalities, news, and things. This was just as an introductory one. So if anything is missing and you would like to see it, just let us know. We can do it publicly, or we can in private do the sessions. It's not a problem. For the questions like the trial licenses, demo installations, we are happy to help. We have trial licenses which have in all the functionalities which are in the product. It's just limited to some amount of the devices, and with the limitation of 1 month validity. Of course, we can expand it if the companies needed to test it a little bit longer. We can do so. Also, we can help you with the installation, especially for the first installation through our partners. We are trying to have someone remotely or even on spot to help you with the with the installation, so everything goes as smoothly as possible. As you can see, we are trying to focus on the Asia and Pacific. Unfortunately, because of the COVID, we were a little bit, quite a lot because of the COVID, reduced the activities in Asia and Pacific. Now we are back and we are trying to give our best to all the support and everything what is needed here. So do not hesitate to contact us. Next 2 weeks, we are together with Mark here in Asia. Actually, we will be in Bangkok, in Singapore. I am not. We are just preparing if we will go to the Kuala Lumpur as well. So if you need any help, we are in the time zone where you are, and we will be glad to meet you, to talk with you, and answer anything and everything what you are wishing for. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you had a nice time and looking forward to see you all. Thank you. Bye bye.